Well, we arrive at the end presentation. I am here to introduce David, and mainly to control his time and to not increase his ego. So David is the head of the Department of Photography and Audiovisual Records at the Municipal Archive of Girona, and is also the chair of the expert group in photographic and audiovisual archive of the International Council on Archives, president at Photo Consortium, director of and teacher of the graduate diploma in management, preservation and dissemination of photographic archives, teacher of the master degree in archival and records management, and the SAGET, the archival school, and the Autonomous University of Barcelona. And he will be a very nice and short presentation. Thank you very much.
My introductions were very short, actually, so probably you are right with my ego. I need all this. So I will tell you about our experience with AI in CRDI, that is the Photographic and Audiovisual Archive at the City Council of Girona. It must be said that all our pilots, it's not that we are using AR for different tasks. It's just our first contact in different project initiatives. And of course, we're interested, that's why Luis Esteve and his team is in InterPARES, in developing something and in being more effective in our work using all this technology. But from now, it's just first experience. So in 2015, we had the opportunity to be involved in the project of a photographic agency that is Album in Barcelona. They are developing technology because they have a business running on photographic collection and an image collection. And they developed the reverse image search, and it works in the way that you don't need metadata to look for an image. It's something that you already know, but it works in a very effective way in a specific data set, in a specific collection. And we had the experience with our collection. So one of our collections were indexed, and we could find images just from an image without having metadata. Why is this so interesting for a photographic archive? Because photography is considered an archival record, of course, but it's multiple. At least it has a negative, a positive, and plenty of it. There are these different prints from these negatives, and actually prints in newspapers, journals, books, etc. So it's crazy to have a complete idea of the relations of every image. It's difficult inside our own archive because we have 3 million images, and it's not easy to relate all of them when are connected. But it's even more difficult when it's in other archives, and that happens very often because, for example, if there is a business with postcards are sell everywhere, so you can find it. And if we think in our first images of Girona, for example, first daguerreotype, the daguerreotype doesn't exist anymore, but there are different engravings. So where are these engravings? Well, most of them are located, not all of them. The oldest image in a photographic carrier from Girona is at the National Irish Library. And there is a copy, a salted paper, original, also in the photographic archive in Barcelona. And if we go with different examples, we realize that there is a net of relations with our images and the wall, and outside, in other archives, I mean. So we need to establish this, and we need the help of AI. So why we don't use if it exists? Because it's something that it makes sense if we agree with at least at the archives at the territory. In Catalonia, at least, in Spain, better. So it's not that the budget is so high. So if something that is efficient and exists and is used for business could be used for heritage. So we need this national strategy in order to use these kind of technologies and being effective. And a step further of this project is when they use a web crawler and they are able to locate images on the website. And this is interesting for us because we don't have real statistic of the use of our images on the website. And even one step further is when they relate this research with a copyright hub that was, I don't know if it was created, but it was used in the framework of the Ardito project, a European project. Another experience, different one, is from the artistic world. This woman, Pilar Rosado, that was a researcher, and he made a PhD related to AI. What he proposed was a creation of a visual vocabulary using existing algorithm, and this vocabulary is composed of visual words that are created from the analysis of the hue, of the composition of the form, of the densities, etc., of images. So what's the result of this? The result of this is that you get new categories that you don't expect in an artistic work that is very evident. So we try to do something similar with our collections, and the results are not so spectacular. But for example, in the portraits you see, you have images where with the same point of light. The light that illuminates these people comes always from the left, no? Or if you see the landscapes below with a similar composition, with distribution of lights, etc. So yes, it's something that could help to our work. Another project is Kaleidoscope. It's related to the 50s in Europe. And what we did in this project with partners and technological partners like AMEC in Brussels, what we did is to try to create context, but I don't mean archival context, because Luis Esteve wouldn't agree on this, and actually I agree, of course. But we need to be precise on this, because we talk about context is not from the production point of view, but from the historical context, thematical context, to say. So we want to look for images that are related to 50s in different areas. Here you see political and social posters in the eastern countries, or the mail of gays in the city of Paris, Hungarian Revolution, and this is an example, family life for wealthy people in richer countries in Europe in the 50s. So we need to relate our images to 50s, and that was a good training. And here you have an example, a live demo when this a new created photography was related to all this repository of the 50s. Another experience has to do about the presentation of our funds, our collections. We are used to go to the website and look for a subject, a date, or whatever, and to have an image one next to the other. Instead, what is proposed by La Tempesta is to make a presentation in a 3D environment, and to relate images that are close to one to the other. So that's why that's useful for us, because it's another point of view for users. They have the whole understanding of a specific collection, and even they go to the groupings, they can see what are the main subjects in this photographic collection. So this is something that was presented in the last Image and Research Conference, and we are for this we are looking at the possibility to include this kind of presentations in our catalogs. Even they can use metadata, because in this case there are existing metadata, and so that helps to be more precise when looking, for example, this is dancing, and all kind of dances that are related can be shown after a research. And this last experience, I must be clear on this, we didn't participate on this, just it was a ICA webinar, and I just made the introduction to these people. But I like to mention this because it has to do about research. This is in INA, it's the audiovisual archive in Paris, Institut National de l'Audiovisuel. And what they proposed, it was a data sprint. And data sprint, what it means is that different researchers meet there, and they worked on a research on a specific area. And the research was about the audiovisual collection. So all the TV archives and audio archives they manage, that's thousands of hundreds of thousands of hours of everything. So they had, for example, to look for the role of women in the publicity of computers in the 80s, so at the beginning. So they had the help of AI for transcriptions of video, of audio, and through a process they were able to get all this information and present the results of research, different subjects, etc. But it's a good example on how you can research on a very big archive with many data that are not completely described. There is no possibilities for a whole description of all this. I mean a manual, an intellectual description. So the AI helps on this, and they get a good results from this research. So said this, as in the title say, experiences and expectations, what we expect from AI. I just show you some numbers here for you to realize that we have a big archive. It's 3 million photographs, but also thousands of hours of videos, audio, etc. So what we expect is help, as everybody expects from AI. And actually already have help. These people that are coming, they are able to identify and to provide stories about images, etc. But that's not enough for 3 million photographs, of course. We also can help. We have help online when we organize crowdsourcing. This is in the framework of a European project. But of course, there is this possibility that people participate and helps with cataloging, and also we help with artists that are coming and doing, for example, a rephotography work, and they go to places, identify places, people, families, etc. But and we also have technological help. For example, when we publish to Europeana, or when we want to publish in other platforms, we need to transform our structure, our metadata. So, for example, this is a mean server. It's a server that is used to publish in Europeana. So from our XML files, we are able. And even we have help from the photographers from the period that were so kind and so well organized that they have a contact print of the images together with the negative and with some information. But we are today able to automatically capture these images, but we are not able to capture the text to extract and to transform it to metadata and to interoperable metadata in different systems. So to finish, just to mention that I think and being very specific, what we expect from this is to be able to gathering all this data from originals, that is a lot of data there, and processing in order to be understandable for machines and for humans. We expect, as we work with images, the capacity of identifying people, places, etc. in an easy way, as everybody expects from AI, to transform data to be used in different platforms and systems. We now see the possibilities of ChatGPT, but actually we are doing all this manually, and you listen many initiatives that can help to all this transformation, but actually it's not happening, at least in this archive. And actually we expect to create contexts and our new categories, but archival context from the producer. Is this a photographer that comes from a portrait gallery, or it comes from a photojournalist, or a street photographer, or whatever? And of course, we would like very much to being useful for research. So our researchers could use this technology and to benefit from it in order to have better results when they go inside so big a collection of images and sound records. And that's all. Thank you.